The three cars I'm about to show you are so reliable, so stupidly good for the money, that if your dealer actually knew what I know, he'd pull them off the lot and keep them for his own family. I've been a mechanic for 15 years. Thousands of cars have come through my shop, broken down, worn out, completely neglected. And in 15 years, I've watched the same tragedy play out over and over again. Good people wasting good money on overhyped brands, while these three cars sit ignored on used lots, practically begging to be driven. These aren't opinions. This is 15 years of grease, receipts, and repair bills talking. Today, I'm giving you the three cheap cars that dealers will never recommend, because there's almost nothing to fix and nothing to sell you after the purchase. And car number one, if you skip this video before we get there, I promise you, the person who watches till the end and buys it will be the one laughing. You won't. Let's get into it. Now, before I reveal the cars, let me ask you something. When was the last time you walked into a dealership and the salesman said, "Hey, don't buy that one, buy this cheaper one instead. It'll never break down." Never happened, right? And it never will, because the dealership doesn't make money on cars that don't need repairs. They make money on service visits, on extended warranties, on parts. The more your car breaks, the more they win. That's not a conspiracy, that's just business. And the only way to beat that game is to know what mechanics know. The cars that quietly, consistently, almost boringly just work. So here's what we're doing today. Three cars, each one criminally underrated. Each one with a story that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about buying cheap. We're going from number 3 all the way to number 1. And I'm warning you right now, number 1 is gonna surprise you. Most people laugh when they hear the name. The ones who bought it stopped laughing a long time ago because they haven't had a repair bill worth mentioning in years. Stay with me, this is where it gets real. Car number 3 is the Toyota Corolla. And look, when I say that name, I already know some of you are gonna roll your eyes. That's fine. I rolled my eyes too the first time a customer drove one in with 210,000 miles on the clock and asked me for a routine oil change. Nothing else, just an oil change. I popped the hood expecting to find a miracle, and what I found was cleaner, tighter, better maintained internals than cars half its age and twice its price. That was the day I stopped underestimating this car. This is the car that mechanics call the overlooked workhorse. It doesn't look flashy, the marketing was never great, the showroom presence was forgettable, but under the hood, bulletproof. The engine on this car was designed with one goal in mind: longevity over performance. And that decision, which most buyers punished it for at the dealership, is the exact reason it's still running strong when everything else has given up. Here's what a real customer told me. A school teacher who bought one used for under $5,000. 3 years later, total repair costs less than $300. Brake pads and one sensor. That's it. She called me last month to ask when she should be worried. I told her, not yet. Before you buy one, check 3 things. First, look for rust under the rear wheel arches. Early models had a weak spot there. Second, make sure the timing belt has been replaced if it's over 100,000 miles, non-negotiable. Third, test the air conditioning compressor before you sign anything. It's the one component that occasionally gives up early on higher mileage examples. And here's the thing your dealer will never tell you. Parts for this car are so widely available and so inexpensive that even if something does go wrong, you'll spend a fraction of what you'd spend on a more popular nameplate. But here's where I have to stop myself, because car number 2 genuinely shocked me the first time I saw what it could do. And if you thought this one was good value, you haven't seen anything yet. Car number 2 is the Honda Civic. I want you to picture this. A customer walks in, well-dressed, clearly someone who knows cars. He's done his research, he looks at me and says, "Be honest, should I buy this thing or not?" I looked at his paperwork, I looked at the car, and I said, "If you don't buy it, I might." He laughed. I wasn't entirely joking. This is the car that mechanics quietly recommend when a friend asks for a real answer, not a polite one. On the outside, it looks like a budget decision. Dealers will steer you away from it because the margins are thin and the service history is short, meaning it doesn't come back to the shop enough to make anyone rich. What makes it special is one thing that most buyers completely overlook: the transmission. While every other car in this price range is nursing an automatic that's one hard acceleration from an expensive rebuild, this car's gearbox was engineered to last. I've seen these transmissions go 180,000, 200,000 miles without a single intervention. That alone should make every budget car buyer stop and pay attention. Quick real story. A delivery driver I know put this car through absolute punishment. City driving, highway driving, overloading it, skipping oil changes twice. The kind of abuse that would have killed most cars in 2 years. 4 years later, still running. He finally brought it in, and the mechanic who serviced it called me just to talk about it. That's how unusual this car's resilience is. If you're buying used, target a model between 5 and 8 years old. Avoid anything with a patchy service history or evidence of a previous rear-end collision. The frame alignment on older examples can be tricky to correct. Everything else? Straightforward, affordable, and almost irrationally dependable. And now we get to number 1. I've been building to this, and I need you to trust me for just another 60 seconds, because what I'm about to tell you is the single most valuable piece of car buying advice I've given in 15 years of doing this job. Car number 1 is the Suzuki Alto, the mechanic's secret, the car that 8 out of 10 people in my industry would buy for themselves if the budget allowed, and many of them have. When people hear the name, they hesitate. The badge doesn't carry the same social weight as the popular choices. The ads were never as slick. The test drive never felt as exciting. And precisely that, is why it's sitting at number 1 on this list today. Because while everyone was busy buying image, the people who bought this car were quietly building wealth. I had a customer, retired engineer, meticulous man, who bought one of these 13 years ago. He's put 240,000 miles on it. The engine has never been opened. Never. The only major cost in 13 years was a water pump replacement at 160,000 miles and a set of tires every few years. He came into my shop last winter not because something broke, but because he wanted to know if there was anything at all he should be worried about. I told him the truth. There wasn't. Here's why this car holds up where others fail. The engineering philosophy behind it prioritized mechanical simplicity over feature complexity. Fewer electronic systems, fewer sensors, fewer things to go wrong. In an era where car manufacturers were competing on screens and gadgets, this car was competing on fundamentals, and it won, quietly, without anyone noticing. Before buying, do this. Get a full compression test on the engine. Check for oil consumption issues on higher mileage examples. There's a known characteristic on some variants worth knowing about. And check the suspension bushings. They're cheap to replace, but make a big difference in how the car drives and how long everything else lasts. The dealer won't show you this car first. They'll push you toward the lot with the better margins and the flashier trim levels. But if you walk in knowing what you want, this car, right mileage, right year, you'll drive home with something that'll still be running when the cars parked next to it are long gone. So let's bring it all together. 3 cars, 3 stories, 1 common truth. The best value isn't always where the marketing points you. The Toyota Corolla showed us that a forgotten name can carry an extraordinary engine. The Honda Civic proved that a transmission built right is worth more than a badge built pretty. And the Suzuki Alto reminded us that simplicity, when engineered properly, is the most reliable technology ever made. The mechanic's advice has always been the same. Buy the car that comes into the shop the least. Buy the car that the owner drives until it embarrasses newer cars on the road. Buy the one that makes financial sense for years, not just for the test drive. If this gave you something real today, drop a comment below. Tell me which car you're driving right now, and I'll tell you honestly what I think of it. And if you want to know which cars I've personally seen go past 300,000 miles without a rebuild, that video is coming next. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.